What's going on, fellow airsofters? This is a Deranged professor with Deranged Airsoft speaking, and today we're looking at what's been hot on the news as far as airsoft goes: the clone speed loaders of the Odin M12 Sidewinder. That's made by or designed by Odin Innovations and then licensed by Z-Shot. These are what are the hot topic, and everyone's talking about these clone loaders. Should you be running them? Should we be buying them? Well, that's a decision that you have to make. I can't answer that for you. But today what we're going to look at is how close is it to the actual original M12 Sidewinder, and what are some of the features that may be different or that may put you off from buying something like this or put you towards something like this. So this one specifically is called the Airsoft Mag Max Reload. It's 1,000 rounds that it holds, and the features are pretty much the same as what you get with the M12. It has that side winding feature and all that kind of cool stuff. With it has a clutch, the anti-jam overflow clutch, just like the M12 does. So we're going to look at all those features today, and this is going to be part one of two parts that we're going to do on this. The first part is just kind of like our overall feel of the thing, of the loader, and then when compared to the M12, and the second part will be actually taking this apart and this one and looking at the two parts inside, and how they all differ, what differs between it, how it's actually put together. Alright, so let's get into it. So first off, here we have the front face. Now, these are already loaded with BBs because we'll do a feed test in a little bit here. And as you can see, they are pretty much the same. The only difference being this is blank, and it even has that ridge in it just like the Odin does. Odin has, the M12 has its name and everything all embossed onto the side. They both have the mag release and mag catch buttons here. This one is a lot more stiff to push than this one, and the reason being this one doesn't actually extend as far down into the channel on the bottom. It's very hard to see because it's black in color than it on the Odin. The Odin one, it extends out nicely into the mag area and really locks in there. The clone has a very, very small spot that sticks out, so nowhere near as large as the Odin Innovations. Now, this side, they are both identical, both flat face, white parts on the M12, black parts on the inside for the clone. The other side here, one difference that there is on these is the arrows. The directional arrows on the M12 are smaller than the ones on the clone. Now, also, the pieces on the M12 Sidewinder fit together much more closely than they do with the clone. With the clone, the handle comes up nice and easily and flips down very easily. You actually can take it and like shake it and the handle will pop open on its own. The M12, it's locked in there, and you can like really hear it click when it goes down in there. So the two, I mean, you can see there's a lot of a difference between the two when they lock together. These pieces don't fit quite as well. This one does. They fit nicely. The other part on this side here, and it's hard to see, but if you hold these two together closely, you can see that the ridges, this distance between these two ridges here is a little larger than the one on the clone. These finger grooves are a little more narrow than they are on the actual M12. Other than that, though, everything else looks exactly the same. Loading doors are identical on the M12 and on the clone. Both the same, both have that same little locking tab on them to hold them in place when they're closed or open. Alright, so pretty much the exact same thing. These have BBs in them right now, but we weighed them earlier to see what this weight difference is. This is 7.3 ounces and this is 7.5 ounces. So only a slight difference in weight. In actual feel, the plastics themselves feel about the same. It doesn't really feel like there's much of a difference, unlike if you were to hold like a Magpul PTS mag and a clone mag. There's a difference in the plastics. With these, it almost feels like it's exactly the same. Like there's no change at all in the polymer, at least, from these two things. Alright, so how do they load? So we're going to use two mags here. These are PTS M120s, orange version, our trusty mags. So we'll do the Odin Innovations one first. And there you can see the Odin clutch working. Okay. And then when you unload it, usually you get 2 to 3 BBs that come out afterwards after you use the Odin Innovations loader. So the clone, we'll load it. And it also has a clutch that works, see? Alright. And when you unload this one, you always get about 6 to 9 BBs that will come out afterwards. Oh, yep, that is the last 3. So this one, I have always gotten about 6 to 9 BBs that come out after you fill the mag with the clone loader. Alright, with Odin, it's always 3. I always have 3 that come out afterwards. So for just sheer numbers, you will lose more BBs every fill with this clone loader than you will with the Odin loader. And we'll look at internally to see if there's any difference between the two later on, but that is something I've noticed. So 6 to 9 BBs lost every time you use this one. This one, I only lose 3 every time. Alright, but both of these mags are full, as you can see, and both clutches were working on them. In operating this one, though, the movement of it, did it just drop out more BBs? Sure did. Yeah, look at that, we lost another one. So there's 10. So when moving this handle, it moves very easily, and the BBs go through more easily. It doesn't, but the big thing I noticed here too is like this screw, you can probably hear it on the video scratching around, and you can see it on there. Like it really digs into this plastic and it ends up coming out on its own, so probably needs like some Loctite put inside of it. I've already had to tighten the screw down once. But I mean it fills your mag just like it does, just like the Odin one does, but I feel like the action on it isn't quite as, I don't know, cheaper. Like that's the way it feels. It just feels more flimsy, a little bit more cheaper in production than the wheel mechanism does on the Odin Innovations. So price point for something that's this clone versus the real one, you're looking at anywhere between around $45, $50 for the Odin Innovations loader, and these you can get for about 20 bucks. Alright, so we'll go through in the next video, we'll take this apart and see what's on the inside and compare those parts to the ones that are inside of the Odin Innovations. So hope this video was interesting to you. Stay tuned for the second part of this where we go through and we will look at both loaders and take them apart and figure out what's different between the two and what's exactly the same, and go from there. Where did they save all this money to get you from $20 or from $50 to a $20 magazine or mag loader? So is this one going to replace ours? Will we never use this one again? Don't know yet. We'll have to wait and see what the second part shows. So, and then you guys will make your own decisions based off of that. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please stick around for part 2. Also check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Search Deranged Airsoft. And we'll see you guys out on the field.